Lori Hernandez. Let me share with you how to thread the Baby Lock Victory for a 3-thread overlock wide stitch. If you'll notice on my machine, I have 3 threads. So I have a thread in the position with my overlock needle 1 and my upper looper and my lower looper. I'm going to go ahead and thread those loopers first. You don't have to, you can thread them in any order, but it's just kind of a habit of mine. So I'm going to open my front door and we'll go ahead and place our serger into threading mode because we have jet air threading. I'm going to place my finger on the machine lock button and turn that hand wheel towards me. Rotate that hand wheel, and now our tubular ports have locked in place to thread our loopers. I'm going to grab my lower looper thread. I'll bring it up into my telescoping thread guide, and on the back of the machine you'll notice that you have back thread guides. Overlock needle 1, overlock needle 2, upper looper, and lower looper. So we'll go ahead and take our lower looper thread, place it in that lower looper back thread guide. Make sure you hear the click. Bring it forward and place it into the guide right below the slot. And I like to bring my thread to my leg. And now we're going to get ready to thread the thread into the threading port. Since we're threading the lower looper, we need to make sure that our lever is slid over to correspond with the L. A clean clip of your thread is always a great option. And then you'll slip about 1/2 inch into the threading port for your lower looper. And now we'll go ahead and just push the lever which blows the thread through the lower looper. Let me open the door so you can see that happen. Here's our lower looper. Our lower looper's threaded. Now let's go ahead and slide our lever over to U, which is going to stand for upper looper. And we'll grab our upper looper thread, bring it up through our telescoping thread guide, our upper looper back thread guide, down to the front of the machine, into our guide, clean clip, and into the threading port. Push our lever, and you'll notice the thread's going to come out your upper looper. Our loopers are threaded. Let's go ahead and thread our needle. Now for a wide 3-thread overlock, our needle's in the overlock 1 position. We'll bring our thread up through our corresponding telescoping thread guide, place it into our overlock needle 1 back thread guide, bring it up in front of the machine, underneath the thread guide, up and over, much like you would on your sewing machine, into your needle thread guide. And now we're going to get ready to use our needle threader. Before we use our needle threader, let's disengage our threading ports for our loopers. We'll just slide the lever over to the right, and that's going to disengage those loopers from when we were threading our loopers. Now on the side of your hand wheel, you'll notice that you have a green line, and there's also a green line on the side of the machine. We just want to align those two together, which sets you up for success when you use your needle threader. In this area, you want to slide this lever either left or right, depending on the needle that you're threading. We're going to thread that overlock 1 needle, so that's going to be our left needle. We'll slide this lever to the left. You'll notice how it slides left and right. So before I engage the needle threader, I just always like to make sure my presser foot lever is down. That gives us tension on the thread. We're going to lower our threading lever. We're going to place the thread in front of the eye of the needle and then just slip it towards us. And our needle's threaded. Let's go ahead and close our front covers. And before we do our sample, we just want to make sure that all of our settings correspond with our settings on our quick reference guide. Our stitch selector is set to A. Our stitch width is set to 7.5. My stitch length is set between 2 and 3, and we're using our overlock 1 needle. Make sure your differential feed is set to that neutral normal position. Let's test our stitch together. That's a perfect stitch, and I really enjoy using that 3-thread overlock wide stitch in a variety of my projects to edge finish the fabric. While we're here, let's go ahead and also set our machine up for a 3-thread narrow overlock. It's really easy to just change our thread from one needle to the other. Our loopers are already threaded, so let's snip our thread above that overlock needle 1 back thread guide. I'm going to snip it also above my thread itself. And I'm just going to serge the thread out, and that's going to clear my overlock needle 1 thread path. I'll reposition my thread over to my overlock 2 needle position. Let's go ahead and bring that up through that telescoping thread guide, slip it into the overlock needle 2 back thread guide. We'll bring that to the front of the machine and underneath our guide. We'll go under. Let's raise our presser foot so we don't have any tension on the thread. We'll go up and over. Now we're going to need to move the position of our needle. So let's raise our needles up. I'm going to lower my presser foot once again. I'm going to grab my screwdriver. And you'll notice that I have my screws in the front of the area of the machine here that actually keep those needles in. So we were using the overlock needle 1, the left needle, so we'll loosen that screw. We'll remove that needle. Let's go ahead and snug that screw back up. And now we can loosen our right needle, our right overlock screw. So the machine comes with a needle exchange tool, and I really like to use it. It's easy to remove your needle and to install your needle. On one side of the tool you have a large hole, and the opposite you have a smaller hole. We're going to slip the needle into the side of the tool where you have that larger opening. The needle is going to go flat to the back. We'll slip the tip of the needle down, and then we're going to come straight up and line it up into the opening where the needle is inserted. And just hold the tool up, and you'll notice it on the inside you'll have the view to where you can see the top of the needle, and we'll snug that screw up. And now we've inserted the needle in the overlock 2 position. That's going to give us a narrower stitch. Let's go ahead and just rethread our needle. We'll turn our hand wheel once again to where the green lines line up. And we're going to slide our lever to the right to thread the overlock 2 needle. Here's our thread. We'll bring our threader down, align the thread in front of the hole and bring it towards us. Let the threader go, and now we've threaded our needle. Now that we've threaded our needle, let's go ahead and check our settings. There is going to be a couple of things that we need to change. We're threading for a 3-thread overlock narrow, so we're going to need to change our stitch selector to B. We'll change our width to 3.0. And our stitch length, I'm going to keep it in between 2 and 3. Now that we've threaded, let's go ahead and do a test stitch. Look how pretty those stitches are. So we can use that 3-thread overlock to accommodate a wide stitch and a beautiful narrow stitch. There's a variety of applications that you can use either your 3-thread overlock wide or narrow. Thank you for joining me.